Here we are once again. Welcome back to Mark Brown, the Intuitive Coach. My name's Nathan Williamson. And as we discussed a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we're going to be talking about delegation and the art of delegation. So Mark, being the professional in coaching these matters, Mark, I'll let you kick off.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I do mostly training around delegation. I've done a little bit of coaching around it, and I was quite intrigued by the thought of delegating work. When I say intrigued, when I was a manager years and years ago, I think that my thoughts on delegation were that I didn't need to. That what I got, what I did, I had to do. So I never really thought about it those years ago. But now I've got a totally different view on it, whether that's because I don't do it anymore. I suppose I do to an extent. But whether it's because I don't do it en masse anymore, I don't have a need to do it en masse anymore, and I don't have a big team of people around me, that maybe that's why I view it differently. But I think also what's happened, Nathan, is that over the years that have passed, I think thoughts about having a team of people and operating either as a group or a team, but let's not go back into that again. I operating either as a group or a team, then I think our thoughts on what we know about people has changed a lot. And I think that whilst delegation can be seen as something that's forced upon people, it doesn't have to be that way. So I think my viewpoint has changed over time. And I'd like to think that when if I became a manager again, I'd look at it completely differently still. So I was just interested to know where you are, Nathan, on how you use delegation. In fact, if you use it at all with your team or group of people.
So delegating is, I'd say, a key attribute to my job role, because there's so many different cogs of things in terms of the machine that I control. I simply can't do it all myself as much as, you know, I'd love to be able to do everything, 100% of the time. There's just things that I can't do myself. So I learned very quickly, and there are managers that delegate and managers that don't delegate. And you have leaders, and that comes down to the leaders and bosses sort of thing. A boss will tell, and a leader will lead from the front and get amongst it. But for me, there are two key elements for delegating well. And when you ask someone to take on a role and you give them that responsibility of the task that you're delegating, you need to make sure they've understood the role that they're doing.
Yeah. I
always ask them, is there anything that is going to prevent you from carrying out that task? They're the two questions that I ask. Do you understand fully? Is there anything you want me to go through? And is there anything today preventing you from doing that for me? And it's all to do with commitment. Same as buying something. Them saying, no, there's nothing stopping me doing that today, boss. Lovely. All right. That's that little bit of buy-in, that little bit of commitment. You are far more likely for that task to be completed. Yeah. If you have those questions in mind. Yeah. There's many ways of delegating, but that for me is the one that I find works for my management style.
Yeah. What sort of tasks do you delegate? I mean, is there anything you wouldn't delegate?
So I wouldn't delegate necessarily anything compliance-based, complaints-based, personnel-based, but cars in the showroom. Have we got enough cars? Is the front straight? Is there someone that I have forgot to ring that needs a callback that can be rung by another member of staff? So those tasks in particular. and even their day-to-day tasks, diary management. You know, I'm so focused, especially at the moment in the world that we're living in, on diary management in terms of people and prospects. You know, look, I can't go through every single one of your diary entries today. You know, I want you to go through them, and I want you to finish by the end of the day. Is there anything there stopping you do that? No. Fantastic. And then by the end of the day, they've completed, and they're much more productive by doing so.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think of the adage that virtually everything is delegatable, as long as if it goes wrong, it doesn't make or create irreparable damage? What are your thoughts on, you know, how far you could delegate or what you could?
So I think everything can be delegated. There are, I think, certain elements of people's job role that you can't delegate. So I couldn't delegate to one of my sales executive to review my monthly accounts.
Okay.
Because that's a skill and an attribute that at that point in time they haven't learned.
Right.
And it's not because they couldn't learn it, it's because their job role doesn't dictate learning it. So that can't be dictated. But everything else in terms of how do we get to, you know, how do we get this car in a state or a price where can you go on Auto Trader? Can you help me with the used car repricing? That and things like that can all be delegated. But I think the stuff that is directly reported 2 or 3 times up the chain above my command, it's, you know, I'm in a privileged position where at any time in the working day I can go into the accounts and see it, because I'm privileged to have that access and to have been taught how to do that. My sales executives will get that access when they progress in their career later on down the line.
Right. I was wondering if there was someone, say there was someone in your sales team that you've got, and they were very financially orientated, would you seek them out to do it? You know, that financial analysis that you do of your numbers.
You can. I mean, fortunately, we have a whole group of accountants. So I've got a dealership accountant that deals with all my accounts and their specialty. And it's something that purely in the job role, unfortunately, you know, for them isn't permitted until they have that next step.
Right. Yeah, got you.
Obviously, competition law, profits, loss accounts, and things like that. So,
I've just got the feeling that if you've got for delegation to work, so if you separate the people from the actual task, if you've got something that to delegate and it won't cause irreparable damage if it goes wrong. And a big thing I think in this is that the person you're delegating to has got the talents, whilst they might not have the skills, they've got the talent to do it. They're going to love doing it. If you give someone a job to do and they haven't got the talent to do it, they're going to hate it. Yeah. And it will probably come back and bite you on the backside because it will be a half-cocked job, so to speak.
And that's not where you want to go.
No.
Obviously, we're trying to keep our sessions a little bit shorter, and the stuff that we've covered in the 9 or so minutes that we've been talking.
Is it 9 minutes?
I know, it absolutely flies.
Yeah.
30 seconds left. What are Mark's 30 seconds of best tips for the art of delegation?
Well, I'm going to take this quite wide, but if there's something on your desk that you do, and you're not learning from it yourself, whoever you are, find someone who loves doing it, and they'll learn from it. That's my thoughts on delegation, and I think I actually read that, so they're not all my thoughts. I think a while ago I read a book and I thought, yeah, it makes sense. And you could have a delegating organisation then, where everyone learns something all the time.
Mark, it's been so for me it is it's very similar. So if someone else can do that task and take something off you, give them the tools to do it.
Brilliant.
Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you again. It's been a blast, and quick fire, just over or just on the 10-minute mark. So
wow.
we'll
Brilliant.
speak to you shortly indeed.
Yeah, thanks a lot then. Bye now.